support us. And if you haven't donated to us, please do. Go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663, all right? Absolutely appreciate it. So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. Should be a nice Thursday, a fine Thursday today, no? Great Thursday. Beautiful Thursday. Perfect Thursday. Great shows today. And I see you all tuning in from Joel's show. Another great episode. Joel Friday TV, The Hake Report, and Jesse Lee Peterson. I do appreciate it. What a lineup. What a lineup before the Anchor Baby. Let's see if we can have a little fun, a little insight. Or maybe even some calls, 888-775-3773. Yeah, we're going to get into it. I want to show you something here. But let me welcome everybody coming into the chat. I see you. Thank you. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. If you want to tune in over there. DLive.tv. Okay, we're rocking and rolling in all places. And it's a fine Thursday. I want to say good morning to a certain state here in a second. 888-775-3773. Don't know if I mentioned that. But yeah, great Thursday. Again, I must tell you, all the viewers who are here now, a little reminder. Make sure you click the notification bell, because tomorrow is a special day. We do the Friday show, and it's a little different. If you've never caught it before, tune in tomorrow around 4 p.m. will be taken off, and it should be nice. You don't want to miss it. Right? Okay. So I want to say good morning to a certain state. Let me pull it up here. Because something amazing. There's amazing scenes coming out of we're getting in the news and whatever. Incredible scenes out of New York here. And I just want to say good morning, New York City. Oh, wait, hold on. Good morning, New York City. Wow. Look at you guys. Is this a New York City subway for real? Good morning, New York City. Right on. Hello, sir. Hello, officer. Container inspection. Backpacks containers are subject to inspection prior to entering the mass transit system. Individuals may refuse to permit inspection and elect not to enter the system. Individuals will not be permitted access to the system with the uninspected container. Individuals who refuse the container search and later attempt to enter the system with an uninspected container risk an arrest. Right on, New York City. Good morning, officer. How you doing? It's a fine day, isn't it? Good day to you. Fine day, ain't it? This woman is laughing. This woman is chuckling. She's chortling in confusion, but it's really delight to see order. Maybe it's shock. I don't know. Guns. Camo. Authoritarianism. Cops. Violence. Manly violence when needed. And only by law enforcement, not by... Excuse me, miss, what's in your bag? No, sir, you may not push that lady onto the train tracks, and we will be taking you to jail for that. This way, sir. Glasses and overweight this way. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm pulling a Charlie Kirk. Morning to you. Morning to you. You know, I was saying similar things when the George Floyd riots were, peaking, burning down the cities, smashing and grabbing, all for George Floyd, right? For civil rights. I remember I was saying something similar. I was saying, it would be nice. It would be just great is if I walk out of my home, I walk out of my place and I see a man in camo holding an M4 and a smile on his face. And I say, good morning, sir. Good day to you, sir. And they're on they're just peppered, like on every block, guns, tanks. I'm like, right on, sir. Good morning, sir. How you doing, sir? Thank you for keeping the peace. I was saying that because I'm not a criminal. I wasn't out rioting. Oh, that's authoritarian. Conservatives were saying that. In fact, they're saying that about this scene here. See, this is what Biden always wanted. The Democrats and liberals, they wanted this. Authoritarianism and a police state. It's out of control. This is what Biden wanted. And, okay, that notion isn't entirely untrue. The very, very opportunistic, evil leaders seeing the opportunities of COVID, of social unrest or whatever, chaos and division and anger, they're constantly using those opportunities and wedges to exert pressure. Okay? It's almost the nature of politics. You know what I mean? Could it be this is how the game is played? Well, our political adversaries are playing this way. And okay, I say that they're not our enemies. That's the wrong focus. Those people, these individual people aren't really the enemy. You'll know that our political adversaries or whatever don't have the same qualms about authoritarianism. It's for the right thing. Now, I wonder how people are feeling about this because it's hitting a couple of different sensitive areas, right? Wasn't this? Are these scenes of a colonial, white, authoritarian America? Although I see a very diverse National Guard. Is this that returning? What is this? Where's the defund the police crowd? You know, the New York governor, Kathy Hochul. She's the one who's been saying that time is over. The defund the police time, that era, that time is over. That time came and went. And I can't quite remember where she stood on that. But many did. Many did. But beautiful, don't you agree? Don't you agree? Beautiful scenes. I love a police state. Control is what you see. So, Kathy Hochul, the news is here. The news is Kathy Hochul deploys National Guard troops to New York City subway amid rising crime numbers. Interesting piece of news here. Following a series of violent incidents in the New York City subway system, Governor Kathy Hochul announced a new 5-point safety plan that includes bringing in hundreds of National Guard troops and adding new security cameras. Well, right on. We are instituting random bag checks, Adams said, Eric Adams, mayor of New York City. They are random, and they are not profiling. They are random. He repeats himself. Knowing the racial the racial implications, bringing back old wounds, which is all in people's heads. It's a lie. But in that sentence, isn't Adams telling us? Isn't Eric Adams telling us, revealing to us that the reason it's difficult to have nice things is because blacks are crazy and everyone else is too scared to say something? So you gotta lock it up. You gotta have the police state. You know what I mean? Lock it up. It's for the safety of the people. The governor and mayor both argued that the new safety plan will protect both passengers and transit workers. However, within an hour of its announcement, another subway conductor was attacked. The conductor was struck on the head with a bottle at the East 170th in the Bronx. In the Bronx. All this should be clear that this problem can be fixed. It's not a big old mystery. The first time I saw the law holding posts like this was in Germany. I felt very safe. They stand in tactical circles. Interesting. I like that you said that, Birdie Bound Brian, because I'm seeing a lot of people comment on this video saying, look, it's like Mexico. Okay, import the third world, you get the third world. And I'm not trying to just totally poo-poo that already, just out the gate. But I'm just glad that you're bringing in a different flavor. It's not all just third world authoritarianism. Sometimes it's just... But anyways, I was saying, it shows the problem can be fixed, right? It's not a big old mystery. So I know Hochul's got a 5-point plan. It's clear, at least somewhere near the top, it's actual policing and actual enforcement of the law has returned, maybe to some degree. And I think that'll be positive. Obviously, everybody knows that. But again, I reiterate, it's not a mystery. It's not a mystery. People just don't want to fix it. They're too afraid to fix it. They don't want to do the right thing. They don't want to, you know what I'm saying? In addition to the bag checks, Hochul's plan includes amending state law to ban repeat offenders from the whole subway system. Wow. It's like felonies can't own guns or enter the New York City subway system ever. Installing cameras in each conductor's cabin. Nice. So we can see them getting beat up. Okay. $20 million for mental health outreach. Just throw more money at it. I think people now at least suspect, I think, that this is a big old slush fund. It's like, hey, we just need $20 million for mental health. And nobody even asks. All you got to show them is the New York City subways. See, look, mental health. Not working. A plan to improve coordination between police officers and district attorneys to go after repeat offenders. The suspects who seem to make all the headlines that scare people. I don't know. I'm just reading it here. New York Post. But imagine that actual policing. That should really be the number one. That should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about some long-term planning, Kathy Hochul? How about some long-term planning? Just some policy suggestions. Getting rid of no-fault divorce. Oh, is that too far? Is that too big of a step? Changing the curriculum. All youngins have to watch Uncle Tom. Maybe I'm being ridiculous, but it speaks to these halfway solutions speak to the more of the roots of the problem a little bit. I'm trying to get to those. What is the root of the problem, Nick? You've heard anger and all this, and I try to speak on these things on a insightful and clear level, but I'm trying, folks. You get it. The problem with authoritarianism. What's the problem with it? It's, so to speak, it's not authority itself, right? It's not authority in and of itself. Embedded in authority is responsibility and, power, I guess, over others in a sense. Authority. And this authority is given, I guess, at least in this country, right, by mandate of the public. So it's not really authority that is the problem, so to speak. It's who's wielding it. That's an obvious one, right? But just to get the juices flowing, to be thinking a little bit, to think differently. It's really who holds it. So, you get it. You get it. 2024, big fights happening, right? Trump. And I think our political adversaries, they know, in a sense, that it's a fight of supremacy. Maybe I'm being too extra, but you understand that it's not. I was reading this thing about, where was it? It was about election stress disorder. And you got the doctors getting in on the conversation because there's intense battles going on. People are even getting physically sick, apparently. Intense election season and today's divided political climate may have many Americans feeling particularly anxious. This is CBS. Hard-hitting news on CBS. One therapist has a name for what they're feeling: election stress disorder. You have election stress disorder if you feel your body tense before you turn on the news, Dr. Stephen Stosny said. That's your body preparing for a saber-toothed tiger with lots of cortisol. It's just a stress response. It's just cortisol. It's always these doctors that speak in this way. It's not necessarily wrong, but don't you get that sense that it feels a little shallow? Oh, it's like, well, just imagine this. If we were still hunter-gatherers and you were faced with a saber-toothed tiger, you would have a cortisol response. That's what's happening when you see the news. Like, you ever hear these doctors and experts, intellectuals speak this way? I mean, I guess I understand what they're getting at, right? Stress response and all that, but they speak it in such a goobery way. Like, you've never been in front of a saber-toothed tiger, and what's that helping me with? Okay, I got cortisol, doc. What are you going to do? Give me a pill? A therapist, Stosny, a therapist who authored several books on improving relationships, coined the term election stress disorder. The part that was interesting, though, why I'm bringing this up, see if I can get to it. This guy's just spreading Satan propaganda. Maybe he doesn't even know it. People aren't going to get better with this. Anxiety is the general central nervous system response, he said, and the way that most people deal with anxiety is to blame it on someone. Oh, that's actually true, Doc. Imagine that. How old are you? Are you a little old school? That's cool. And unfortunately, the law of blame is it will eventually go to the closest person, your partner. Why are you saying that word, Doc? Your wife or husband, your spouse, let me correct you, or children. That is just so true. That's just true. But what does Stosny say about this blaming and the law of blame and what is it and what we do with it? He says these same arguments, they lead to devaluing of each other. They turn to toxic encounters. And what happens is anger comes when people feel disrespected. Oh. Social media gives you a voice, but not individuality, says the doc. And so people are frustrated. And so rather than channeling the inherent frustration and making someone else feel disrespected, Stosny urged people to focus on deeper values, like compassion, equality, and justice. And the reason is, he says, because people tend to agree on values. They disagree on policies, but they agree on values. Dr. Stosny, therapist extraordinaire. I'm messing around because it's just kind of shallow. We just agree on values. And that's why we're just not getting along. We're talking about all these policies. Stop talking about policies. We don't even agree on values. What are you talking about? We pretend to have values. I go around on my show and I'm like, anger is evil. Thoughts are evil. You know what I mean? But I believe thoughts sometimes. What a mess. What an absolute mess. So yeah, devalue as they disagree. What am I saying here? Anger comes when people feel disrespected. I feel like it's a shallow understanding, right? Their disagreement on these policies is because their beliefs on the values, their differences on these beliefs become very obvious when you get to the policies. And so people aren't arguing about trivial things here. They completely disagree. And then on top of that, people have anger. So no, people are not understanding each other and talking it out and just agreeing on values. So this article kind of reminds me of this problem with authoritarianism. Some people's fear with it, conservatives' fear of it, liberals' fear of it, but they're also speaking out of both sides with it. They would rather it for themselves. So anyways, what was I saying? We're just 888-775-3773. I do see your super chats as well, but I get to them. But Biden's got a big old speech. I've got a big speech. Biden has a big old speech today. The State of the Union address. I don't know who's watching that. I think I'll be a little busy. I believe I will be at the men's forum. So thanks, Biden. I'll just see the reruns, I guess. Men's forum. Yeah, anybody in the LA area who's never been to one of the men's forums here at Bond, 7 p.m., you don't want to miss it. It's only men, and everything you say there stays there. So where were we? The ego feels disrespected. Yeah. True, GG Cash, what are you referring to? Yeah, it kind of makes me think about what Joel was talking about today. Interesting episode. Definitely check it out. False righteousness. Values. I'm going to go around trying to tell people about that. Like, I just try to tell you what I've discovered values and the things that we call good definitely aren't. You know, like, for example, like trying to change yourself and trying really hard at stuff to make stuff work, change yourself. I'm not going to tell you this is how to be good and never believe thoughts. I'll tell you when I discover that, but I'll tell you right now, you know what's not going to work? Trying hard to change yourself, all this stuff. You got to let go. I'm learning that, right? Because I'm this guy who's just been holding on to life like this, like my whole life, just white knuckling it. Anybody relate? Just white knuckling life. And I'm like learning about stuff and learning just how hard I'm holding on. and just starting to like let go. So yeah, I'm just trying to tell you what definitely is not going to work. Okay, folks. Look, State of the Union address. I want to get into that. Some of my thoughts on it, how it's actually kind of an interesting one this time around with what everything that's been going on, what Biden and Trump represent. I was talking about it a little bit yesterday. And it's crazy. It's like I started paying attention to politics, and it's like the craziest one ever. It's like the most important one ever. Is life really a simulation? God, did you make this all for me? I'm just... Hardest thing to do is change, says Nilda. Joelle White Knuckles. What are you talking about, Nilda? Do black people get white knuckles? When they grip hard, you know, like when you get on a roller coaster and this is a white knuckler. And you're like, yeah, I'll get on it. I'll push through it. I'm not scared. But you're just holding onto the bars as hard as you can. Like, oh, I'm not scared. Let me go. That's white knuckling. Yeah, do black people's knuckles get white when you ball them up into a fist? Let me know. Only when they don't use lotion. What a mess. Okay, men and males, Lin Yen Chin. My apologies, Lin Yen Chin. Thank you for that. Let me just make that clear. Men and males, no transgenders, betweens, other things. I don't know how you... Just, can you drop all that for a day? I don't know what to tell you. But look, no males. I mean, males and men. Men and males, probably males. I don't know. Do men need the men's form? Yeah, the males need an example. Anyways, men and males, all men and males allowed, 7 p.m. at the Bond headquarters. Rebuildingtheman.com/events. At rebuildingtheman.com, at least for the website, and you'll find a lot of info there. So thanks. And I see your calls coming in. Thank you. I will get to all of you. Let's do some super chats. We got supers. We got Matthew. Thank you. Matthew says, I still hold on to pretty girls in a sundress. Mess. What do you mean? Are you still holding on? You still got one? I don't know. David C., thank you for that, says Nick T. Next time you get pulled over, just say, what seems to be the ossifer problem? And I promised I'll let you go. Well, thanks, David. You sound like you have some experience with that and want to just give some good old advice, not maliciously at all. Thank you. Matthew, with the earlier super chat, kicked it off. Thank you there. Says, nice. You should see the videos of the Afghanistan Taliban on rollerblades now. Then compare it to the TSA. What are you talking about, Matthew? I just need you to clarify. The Taliban on rollerblades, well, that just sounds like a bunch of fun. Right on, Afghanistan Taliban. Who says you can't have a little fun? Lamps, thank you, Lamps. Renescu with a coffee. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Renescu with a coffee says, I know the pieces fit because I watched them fall away. Nick. And he spells it N-I-C. Thank you. How you construct a broken heart? Jorel don't know. How do we reconstruct your broken heart, Renescio? Is it your broken heart that we need to reconstruct? What broke it? What broke it? And how do you know it's broken? I'd like to hear. But maybe you're just messing around. Appreciate your coffees and calls and all that. Renescio. I think that's all for now. Thank you, DJ 2020. How you doing, sir? White knuckle through the Rockies after nearly taking out an elk at 3 a.m. Send a man to the chiropractor. I didn't know that. DJ 2020, are you a outdoorsman? You ever heard of Garmin? Garmin? They're making these sweet little satellite packages. These like satellite emergency services, from what I researched, has gone to the next level. Pretty much anybody could just have it in their pockets. It's like a subscription service. Might save your life. But the pieces definitely fit, Renesio. I'm just reading my chat, reminding me of your earlier coffee there. Of course they all. If you have all the pieces, why wouldn't they fit back together? I'm messing around. All right, shall we move on? Okay, I got calls. What shall we do? I'm like a kid in a candy store. So many things to do. We got a call. Let me open up my calls. 888-775-3773. I got Carlos. No way, out of South Korea. Right on. How you doing, Carlos?
Nick,
Hey.
I called Jesse like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, right
But
on.
I saw you tonight, and I'm watching this stream, and I'm thinking somebody needs to throw you a life preserver.
A life preserver? Why do you say that?
You're kind of struggling, but now hopefully the more calls are coming in.
Nice.
Listen,
Thank you. Kicking him off.
You know, you said this thing that just triggered me.
Okay.
Don't watch the State of the Union. I'm like, what?
I didn't tell people not to watch it. Did I say that?
But you kind of implied that you were I'm too busy. I'm not going to watch the State of the Union. You were kind of brushing it off. But
actually, I think I was saying this particular one out of all of them, even though I find them kind of just tradition and usually not something that most people pay attention to. I was actually saying about this one in particular.
This is a teaching moment. Like, you should tell everybody to watch it because he's going to blow it. It's going to be a disaster. People are going to see just what dementia-ridden person that we have running our country. Like, this should be the wake-up call for everybody in the United States. The State of the Union. But you better watch it because you got to know who's running your country, and he's not fit. Mentally
And you
for
think,
the job.
and you think for what reason? Help me understand the teaching moment.
Because there are a whole bunch of people that still refuse to believe that Joe Biden is not fit to run our country. But if they watch the State of the Union, they will have no other choice but to admit that they're wrong because he's not playing with the full deck of cards.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah, he's not. Even his doctors. Oh,
so it's the State of the Union that's going to do it. So it's the State of the Union that's going to do it, right?
Yeah,
now, it wasn't all these years. It wasn't him bumbling around. But the State of the Union, people are going to see that. They're going to wake up. And what's going to happen when they see him?
It'd be like
what's going to happen when they see him?
It'll be like the cherry on top of, this sundae. Like, oh, my God, we can't deny it anymore. This guy is too far gone to even, and God help us. God, that Kamala, what's her name? Kamala? I don't know.
I forget.
But President Harris that's never going to be a reality in our.
Well, what do you think is going to happen when people? So I'm trying to get in your head here. You're saying that people who are on the fence or are pro Biden or whatever, they're going to see him speak at the State of the Union address. They're going to be like, oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen when they see him? They're going to turn Republican? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I here's what I'm really worried about, unfortunately. And, I was listening to another podcast earlier tonight that RFK Jr. was on. I hope RFK Jr. doesn't split the vote between him and Trump like Ross Perot did.
No, but what do you think is going to happen when people see this Biden's State of the Union address? Do you think they're going to go Republican or?
I'm just saying they're not going to vote for him, and that means all those votes will be split. And unfortunately, if they get split between RFK Jr. and Trump won't win. Now, listen. Don't get me wrong, because I love Donald Trump. I've loved him since I was a kid. I read his book. I watched his movie. When he was in, Home Alone. But as a person who lives overseas, I've lived in South Korea for 20 years. Donald Trump did things that I never saw. Like, he actually came to this country, walked across the border into North Korea, shook Kim Jong-un's hand. I've never seen a president, like, even if he is this reality TV president. And I feel bad because, you know, he got worked over and they released the whole China virus right before the election, and he got worked over, and he did the things that they wanted him to do, and he shut down our economy, and they let him do mail-in voting. You know, it's just sad.
I still don't understand. I still don't quite understand what evidence you have and how you see people seeing Biden's State of the Union address and how that's going to change anything. I mean, I understand what you were saying. I understand what you think your conclusions are, but it doesn't sound like they're in reality. It seems a little shallow. I don't think people they're convinced by those things. I don't know if you've noticed, but people are not convinced by that. People are not convinced by those things.
Do you really believe that Joe Biden barely won the 2020 election?
Yeah.
Really?
Say what you said again one more time. Do I know that Joe Biden barely?
Do you really believe that Joe Biden barely won the 2020 election? Do you think it was a fair election, our last election?
Well, I don't know. We never got a chance to figure it out, right? Never got investigated. And personally,
so do you believe
personally, I stay away from such things because YouTube has asked us to do so.
So let's go to the next. Do you really believe that January 6th was an insurrection against our government?
No. So what's your question or comment? Help me understand your point. Help me understand your point, because it sounds like I don't know.
I just told you.
Are you pro-Trump but sneak dissing him a little bit?
We have an illegitimate president. Our last election was not fair. They used mail-in voting. You can go watch. You know.
All right, on Carlos. Appreciate your call, man. I gotcha. Anything else you want to say before we move the wheels?
Yeah, I just hope people will watch the State of the Union, because it should be a wake-up call that this is not the person that you want in charge of your country.
Right on, Carlos. What are you doing in South Korea?
Staying out of the United States before the next civil war, bro.
Oh, you think it's going to be a big old civil war? What do you mean? You're from America originally?
I was born in Utah, grew up in California, but I've lived here for 20 years, and I like Korea because it's 99% Korean, and they don't have all the racial problems that you guys have over there. I live a very, racial-free life in South Korea. It's nice.
Right on, man. Don't they have this big old worship of I actually have a story about South Korea. Maybe I'll get to it later. Hey, appreciate your call, Carlos. Call me again.
All right.
Nice. Appreciate that. 888-775-3773. Moving on. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be that important. State of the Union. I was saying, in fact, earlier, though, this one is a little bit more interesting than out of most State of the Unions. Speaking of the State of the Union address, I was thinking, wasn't I just saying that? I was thinking this one might be interesting because it'll be kind of interesting to see what Biden actually says. These speeches, I see them as a tradition, and I don't know, it feels like kind of going through the motions maybe when things are hunky-dory, but things are a little bit tough right now, right? I can't think of a State of the Union address that was particularly important. But what makes this one interesting is all the inflection points, right? America is facing a lot of changes going on. This demographics change has caused political changes, even in shakeups for Democrats, even just recently with Israel and all that. So I was wondering if this will be more of the same MO, extolling these liberal values, racial cohesion above all things, right? And by the way, you know what that looks like, right? When they when they're trying to advance equity and racial cohesion, it looks like Biden saying unrelenting stream of non-white people so that we can be a non-white majority, etc. That's what it looks like. Silencing white people and jailing them, like in Britain, for saying, hey, we want this country to be white. That's what that looks like. And they have all the terms to justify their actions. Restorative justice, racism. But I don't know if you can call any of that love. But yeah. It's just that things are so crazy and spiteful and hateful now. I wonder how that'll be handled, if at all, by Biden. I just wonder if it'll be more of that same just authoritarianism, militant. See, I don't mind it when it's in their hands. Militantly liberal and diverse, or if he's gonna navigate the recent kind of developments. For example, like there's a these liberal POCs. And things don't seem all hunky-dory with the liberal POCs and the Democrats, right? They're pro-Palestine. They see it as a genocide over there. The liberal Jews are mad at Biden. The pro-Palestinian Muslims, liberal whites, I think, even. They're out there protesting, I see. With the Palestinians, okay, seemingly. The younger crowds, the same younger crowds that Democrats work so hard to allow to vote and get their attention and all that. These are Democrats that are, I guess, these are demographics important to Democrats. So that's why it's interesting to me, see kind of this shakeup, see if it's navigated at all. Personally, I predict it'll just be more of the same. So that they may keep the union. And I don't think the people who've already decided about Biden and thinks he's old or incompetent or whatever are already doing that, right? They're already somewhat there. The rest, facts don't matter. And so that's just my prediction. I don't really know. I hope Carlos is right that there's some waking up going on. I bet you there'll always be a bit of waking up going on for those that are looking. But it has to do with the person that's looking. I think it has less to do with what's actually said or debated. You know what I mean? Okay. The snake pit of the union. Will there be a live chat? LOL. Do you think we can find each other in the Biden State of the Union chat? Hey, chat, will you look for me in the Biden of State of the Union chat? Look for me in the Biden So-To chat. I found her in the Biden State of the Union chat. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be live streamed, if they'll have a live chat. It'd be nice if they do, but if you notice, remember, this was especially true 2020. And Biden's State of the Union addresses or speeches and all these videos were coming out on YouTube and they were getting like downvote. What was it? I forget. When did they get rid of the downvote on YouTube? When did YouTube get rid of the downvote? It was in November 2021. Now, I'm not look. Stay out of too much conspiracy. This one I think is fun. It's not a big deal. Going straight to conspiracy is fear, folks. But that being said, 2021, November 20. Remember when Biden, they were putting out all these videos, 2020 came out, and they were downvoting the heck out of these videos. They were getting horrible comments. They were removing the comments. They were full-on side-by-side screen caps of these comments that were deleted. And not only that, they were suppressed because these videos would all eventually have their comments locked, so you couldn't comment away anymore. So take that how you will if we'll really see each other in the Biden So-To chat. So yeah, that's something I remember. November 2021. Now you can't dislike videos on YouTube anymore. That probably just flows out of there. Anti-bullying and, you just can't feel bad about anything. Shall we move on? I don't have much longer with all of you today. In fact, we're coming to the end of the show very shortly here. There's something going on with the studio. I got to give it up to the JLP. They're filming us something. I don't know. But I'll be here to help. I got to move out of this studio, though, shortly. 888-775-3773. Let's see. What do we do? Gospel. I had someone from South Korea calling me. And I didn't know the men over there were so... I don't know. Is it simpy? What do we call it? You know about K-pop stars, right? Korean pop music stars. And they're very... I don't know if you know this, but they're very intense fan bases, okay? Very, very intense. And it's men, in Korea at least. Pop star apologizes to fans after relationship reveal sparks backlash. This is some K-pop star, Karina of K-pop group. I don't know how to pronounce that. aespa. She's a Korean lady. She's part of this group. And she committed the sin of dating someone publicly. A Korean man. That's nice to see. Where is he? Where's the picture? I don't know, but it's... we're not seeing it. At least their entertainment and popular culture, at least their stars marry their own. I don't know what's going on in Korea if they got a demographics issue, but we're just playing around, right? We're just having fun. Are K-pop stars allowed to love? Asks CNN. Well, the answer is a resounding no. They're getting major backlash. Bill's saying heck no. You see, the thing is, look at what some of these fans are saying about this woman. The response from fans across Asia was swift and mixed. Some expressed their support, but many reacted with shock and fury. Do you not get enough love from your fans? It read, why did you choose to betray your fans? You know what some women in this country in America would call these men? They would call them incels. What? You misogynist incel? You can't say that to women. They're allowed to love. And you know what this woman did? She apologized. She said, Here's the fans asking her, please apologize directly, otherwise you'll see declining album sales and empty concert seats. Look, extreme loyalty is required of your pop stars in Korea. I'm just trying to explain to you the difference in cultures and countries, okay? I'm not saying this is good, but extreme loyalty is required of these Korean pop stars. And in fact, I'm reading in this article how these companies... they basically deem it a taboo to date publicly. There's been K-pop stars who've been totally dropped by their record companies for publicly dating, because you gotta bring in the beta bucks, and you gotta keep the Korean execs, the Korean pop execs know how to create a whole experience. It's not just this person singing; it's a whole experience. See, your beautiful K-pop star is not just this beautiful singer; she's also accessible. She's mysterious and accessible just for you. Maybe you found that somewhat interesting. But I just didn't know it could get to that level of I don't know, men seeking love from women. I guess it's pretty bad here too, but look, I just thought you might find this interesting. Actor Lee Jae-wook broke all those Koreans' hearts. Poor Koreans. But everybody really is looking for love all around the world. And don't we have that going on here? You see guys, I'm just commenting on some of the things I've noticed in our very own culture. That's kind of the reactions people get. I've seen men react like that too, okay? So it's really not Korean. It's just making women your god, possibly. Maybe. I'm just putting that bug out there in your ear to smoke on. 888-775-3773. But yes, is that a Korean caller there? K-pop. That's all I think. I mean, I wanted to get into the gospel of Call of Duty here. I had a whole segment here. I think you'll find this interesting, but it'll be perfect for a show tomorrow. For a Friday-style show, I think it'll be perfect. Fasting, the Bible, speaking in tongues, Gamergate, and Call of Duty. How does this all work? I'm telling you, it's all connected. It's all connected, bro. But we're going to get into that tomorrow. That's Nick Stream Fridays. We do a flight. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Should be fun. Should be interesting. But what can we do in the last few minutes? You know what? You might find this interesting. Is this what I sound like? Please. Is my show Is this my show? Is this me? Am I a podcast bro? Am I a podcast bro?
In Pinocchio.
This guy's talking about Pinocchio on Joe Rogan. And I don't know who this is.
Remember this when you saw it as a kid? It gave you a creepy feeling in your belly.
Let's see it. Pub scene in Pinocchio.
He talks about bringing the boys to Pleasure Island, and then he starts whispering what happens to the boys, and the fox freaks out. He's like, oh, but, and he goes, no, they don't come back as boys.
He's talking about Pinocchio. Are you following? He's like, actually, Pinocchio's way darker than you realize. You didn't know the messages behind it all. It's actually like Epstein's Island, bro.
Watch it.
Ooh. When do you think they started doing stuff like that?
Dude.
Well, how would you blokes like to make some real money? Well,
And they put the creepy music.
we have to,
No.
nothing like that. You see?
No way. Sinister music?
I'm collecting stupid little boys.
That's, come on, Nick. It's Jim Brewer. Show some respect. Sorry, I don't know who that is.
The disobedient ones what play you give 'em.
And Joe Rogan's all like, no way, dude. That's freaking wild, dude.
What's your reaction?
Pleasure Island. He said Pleasure Island. He said Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island's in a Disney movie. Epstein's in a Disney movie.
Suppose they? No. There's no list. There's no list. Come back as boys. Bring him to me. Yes.
Anyways, you got it. Like, is this my show? Am I a podcast, bro? Chat. This is my show. It's just like emphasis. That's my show. It's just like emphasis. If I say it like this, though, but if I say things like this, then you'll really understand. Nick, you're doing too much. Yeah, maybe. See, this is what I'm talking about, David. See? Renesio, let's take a call and then end the show here to free up the studio. Renesio, Los Angeles, you're on the air. Renesio?
Hey.
How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
You're ending the show already.
Well, yeah, I got to free up the studio here, but I got a few minutes for you.
Oh, no. Well, that's cool. Thanks, man. I was just thinking, like, you were talking about K-pop and, like, making the women your god.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How is that related?
How about making the women your god?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
the fans...
worship the women? Or what does that mean?
If you heard the story, the fans, the male fans of these Korean pop stars, when they hear, they become so... they take it so personally when they find out their K-pop star is dating a man that they become apoplectic. They go online and start harassing them, telling them we're gonna stop going to your shows. How could you betray us? I thought you got enough love from your fans, and it's in fact at such a level that Korean pop star, the record executives and all that behind the Korean pop stars have actually even gone as far as firing some of these pop stars who've gone public with relationships because the bottom dollar amount is being affected because these fellas, you know, you could see it as a sort of worship, don't you think? They're worshiping their God.
That's nuts. That's nuts, man.
And then their God, who they thought was perfect, is hanging around with some Korean hunk, and they're like, what the heck? I thought you loved me. It's a mess. But it was kind of I was messing around, but do you kind of see it now?
Yeah. I didn't know that, but that sounds ridiculous. It's crazy.
Absolutely, man.
But I didn't meet
the dollar incentive. I mean, the K-pop stars themselves get in on it, right? Everybody's kind of part of this huge tapestry here, and it's like they're all guilty, but yet none of them are guilty. So that's why you can't really judge or hate anybody. You got the simps getting something out of it. They're paying for this this feeling, their accessibility to their pop stars. The K-pop stars, you know, are they any different from the OnlyFans girls going around saying, I love you, short, ugly, poor kings. Give me your money. Lying to men, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're all getting something out of it.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that's their...
I'm sorry, Renesio. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm getting an interesting tidbit of information from Bill here. What'd you say? Porn is illegal. In South Korea?
All right.
Pornography is illegal in South Korea. Imagine that. Huh. I'm going to Google that. You were saying, Renesio?
No, I mean, I get it now.
Yeah.
But can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
Before yeah. I met this last year. I met this girl who was like really into K-pop, right? She was like sitting next to me on the airplane.
Okay.
And then she started playing like Meshuggah all of a sudden. What the?
She had some Meshuggah going, and you fell in love.
You know, gent, yeah. All right, Nick. Peace.
Nice, man. Appreciate your call, Renesio. Call me again. Fantastic. Santino, thank you for the super chat. Says, I want to go ahead and upgrade my ticket to first class for tomorrow's show. I got to sit in the Ballers Lounge. Santino, you rock for upgrading so early and even doing a little bit of an advertisement for those who've been watching and have not joined us for our Friday show. You gotta be there. And you might even want to get yourself a first class ticket so that you can sit in the Ballers Lounge. Appreciate that, Santino. I love short kings, says Terry Strange. I don't doubt that. I'm talking about these women that lie. And I really don't think this height thing is that deep. Like, I know there's the red pill dating people. The height supremacy thing is funny, but I think men care about that more than women. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm wrong. Call me tomorrow. Because I got to end the show. Oh, wait, maybe I got a little bit more here. Hold on. Internet censorship in South Korea prevalent, contains some unique elements such as the blocking of pro-North Korea websites, Japanese websites. South Korea is also one of the few developed countries where pornography is largely illegal, with the exception of social media websites, which are a common source of legal pornography in the country. Huh. Imagine that. Do you think, Bill, if they had the pornography, they wouldn't they would have an outlet where they wouldn't go as crazy with these K-pop women? Bill is nodding yes. But that's like the same argument they say for these PDF file people. They're like, just let them, just give them an outlet. Give them a doll. I don't know. The thing is all those things are just symptoms, right? Those things are all just symptoms. And all the nations may exemplify them in different ways, but it's that same old sickness. You could call it a sin, perversion. Look at that pervert. He's degenerated, less than me. But you're on the same path. You're on the very same path if you have anger and you believe the thoughts and you don't know what the ego's doing to you, where it's leading you down. Okay? So it might look differently, but it's all the same. That's pretty interesting, though, about South Korea, huh? It looks like legislation alone is not enough. The men will still be simps. You must return to the father. You could ban all the porn you want. And I'm not saying we shouldn't. Christian society just might do that. But that's just an interesting thing to ponder, don't you think? How tall is his masculinity, says Terry. All right, y'all. Call me tomorrow. Koreans are ugly and short. What? I didn't mean to read that. Nick, you didn't read my super chat. Let me double check, triple check here. Before we go, oh, dang. Yes, Gunner. Thank you, sir. Says Glizza Gang tomorrow. Sir, I'm gonna also take that as a first class ticket purchase. So you know Yes Gunner will be joining Santino tomorrow in the Ballers Lounge. In the Ballers Lounge. And you don't want to miss it. 4 p.m. Pacific time. But that's it from me, folks. I gotta let you go. Peace. Take care. And I shall see y'all tomorrow. We got Open Line Friday, Joe Hake Report, Fallen State, Nick Stream. Take care.